Have you ever really stopped to think about what your time online is worth? I mean, every comment you leave, every review you write, all that expertise you just share, it all helps build the digital world we live in. But here's the kicker. What do you actually get back for it? Today, we're going to dive into a huge shift in how we think about all that stuff, not as something that's just taken from us, but as a real, valuable asset that we can and probably should own.
Yeah, this quote, it just nails it, doesn't it? A ghost in the machine. That's exactly what it feels like. For years, we've been these invisible forces online. Our intelligence, our creativity, it's the fuel for everything. These giant marketing engines, billion-dollar AI models, you name it. But our link to the value we help create, it's just gone, completely cut off. We're like the architects who design a skyscraper but get zero credit and zero stake in the final building.
Okay, so how on earth did we end up here? Well, it all boils down to what you could call a broken handshake. Remember the deal? The unwritten rule of the internet was supposed to be simple. We get cool, free services, and in exchange, they get to use our data. But somewhere along the line, that deal well, it got incredibly one-sided. And it's been used to build empires for just a handful of companies.
And this really breaks it down, doesn't it? On one side, you've got all of us, our insights, our expertise, our creative content, our feedback, all that good human stuff. And where does it all go? Well, on the other side, it gets funneled directly into these massive systems, billion-dollar AIs, huge marketing machines that generate just incredible profits. It's not just a little unbalanced, it's a massive, nonstop transfer of wealth. And the people who actually created that value in the first place were left completely out of the picture.
But what if we could actually fix that broken handshake? Well, the solution begins with a pretty fundamental shift in how we see things. It's about time we stopped thinking of our data as just some disposable byproduct of being online. We need to start treating it like what it actually is, a genuinely high-growth financial asset. I mean, for decades, the model has been super simple and, let's be honest, pretty exploitative. Our data was just taken, right? It was buried in those ridiculously long terms of service nobody ever reads. We had no idea where it was going or what it was really worth. We were basically just handing over the raw materials for these digital empires, completely for free.
But now this new model just completely flips the script. Instead of your data being taken from you, imagine being able to deploy it. Yeah, deploy it just like you would with personal capital. Suddenly, you're the one in control. You get to decide where your intelligence goes, and you make sure you keep a stake in whatever it helps to build. You're not just a provider anymore. You're an active investor in this whole digital economy. All right, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great in theory, right? But how does it actually work? Well, the key to all of this is a technology that basically acts like a digital passport for every single piece of data you create. The concept is called persistent lineage. So, persistent lineage is essentially an unbreakable digital paper trail. The easiest way to think about it is like a digital fingerprint that gets embedded into every single contribution you make online. And this fingerprint is stored on-chain, which just means it's on a super secure public ledger like a blockchain. What that means is, no matter where your data goes or how it gets used down the line, its origin story, that critical link back to you, is permanent. It can never, ever be erased.
And having this digital passport for your data unlocks three really powerful benefits. First up, you get verifiable credit for everything you contribute. Second, it makes sure that any rewards are directly tied to the value you created. And third, it creates this whole new level of what we'll call structural accountability. So let's break down what each of those actually means for you.
Okay, so let's get practical. What does this really mean for you? Well, verifiable credit means you're actively building a public, provable record of your expertise. Think of it like an on-chain resume that is impossible to fake. Then you have aligned rewards. This means that if an AI model built using your data starts making money, a piece of that value is mathematically automatically sent right back to you. No middlemen. And structural accountability. This might be the most powerful piece of the puzzle. Your ownership isn't based on some company's pinky promise in their terms of service. Nope. It's literally baked into the code itself. It's a technical reality, a guarantee.
All right, let's zoom out a bit, because this idea connects to something way bigger. This isn't just about getting fair credit for your work online. This is about putting yourself in a position to actually capitalize on one of the biggest tech shifts of our lifetime, the AI boom.
See, as AI systems get smarter and more independent, what people are calling agentic, the need for high-quality, human-verified data is just skyrocketing. It's exploding. These systems are absolutely hungry for our intelligence, to learn, to get better, and to stay connected to the real world. This creates a huge market opportunity for anyone who can provide that kind of intelligence, and, crucially, can now prove they were the original source. And this really shows the massive transformation we're talking about. In the old world, the old model, you were the product. Your data was exploited to make a service better for the company that owned it. But in this new model, your data is utilized. You're not the product anymore. You become a stakeholder. You're not just a passive user. You're an active supplier in a booming economy that for the first time actually recognizes and pays the people who create the value. So, when you put all these pieces together, what do you get? You get a brand new protocol for digital fairness. It's a system where, at last, your data truly becomes your leverage. And this new foundation is built on 3 really powerful principles. First, ownership isn't some add-on or an afterthought. It's a core feature built right into the code. Second, your rewards are designed to scale. As the systems you help power get bigger and more valuable, so does your potential return. And finally, you get absolute transparency. You can know exactly where your data is going and what it's helping to achieve. It's a totally new kind of relationship with the technology we use every day. Look, we are stepping into a brand new era of the internet, a world where traceable data is power, plain and simple. By making sure the history of your contribution can never be erased, your claim to the wealth it creates can't be erased either. And that means, for the very first time, your digital intelligence is truly yours to command. And all of this really just brings us to one final, and I think, essential question. Every single day, your knowledge, my knowledge, our collective creativity is literally building the future of artificial intelligence. So, shouldn't we own a piece of that future?